back.
I wanted to ask you if okay, so my name is Linnea
Yes.
and it's a plant name
Yes.
and it is considered a pretty feminine name. I am in the process of transitioning, but I really like my name. It's a
Yes.
because it's a plant name and I work with plants and I know Willa Hillerkissing talks about having plant names in the future and that really resonates with me.
Yes.
So I was wondering if there is a name that comes through you to me that would make sense for me after I transition medically.
Into,
A male.
well, if you wish to retain traditional suffixes on your planet, you could call yourself Linneo.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. That's amazing. Okay. Whoa, that's really interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
I'm my ancestors are from Lebanon.
Yes.
Can I ask a question about Lebanon?
You may ask. We do not know yet whether we will be allowed to answer, but go ahead.
Okay, great. So I have ancestry from that area. That's kind of the only area that I have ancestry from. And when I look at Lebanon, it seems like a place that experiences a lot of challenges and a lot of identity crisis issues. And I'm
Yes.
wondering, it's kind of hard for me to find information on Lebanon. And I'm wondering if you have any idea of the original people of Lebanon and if they ever lived harmoniously with the land and if they ever lived harmoniously with each other.
In some ways, yes, but it is an area, as you say, of great challenge and great cycles of exploration. We would suggest, even though it may not be only connected to the idea of Lebanon, if you have not done so already, explore the idea of Baalbek
Okay.
and see what comes up for you.
Explore and you mean just research and
Research.
not go there.
Yes, if you wish. You may ultimately go there, but for now, research is fine. Baalbek.
Okay. Okay, great. What are can you talk a little bit about is there any energy point in Lebanon that makes it so chaotic or is it just what people there have agreed to experience?
To some degree, it's what they have agreed to experience, but it is a deeper story than that and a longer story than we have time to express today.
Well, will we get to know sometime in my lifetime what the story there is? It just seems too
Potentially,
complicated.
potentially, yes.
You have talked about how on first contact we would get a complete history of our planet.
That will
Would
be
that be a
contained
time?
within it, yes.
Amazing. Do I have time for one more question?
Well, that was a question. I guess you did.
Okay. Um, I have a question you've probably answered a whole bunch of times already, but what
Always
are
the
some
first time, every time.
okay, interesting. What are some actual practices on how to stop caring about what people think? Because just identifying it to me doesn't stop those reoccurring patterns and those reoccurring thoughts. It's something I've been working on my whole life. So
All
I'm
right.
wondering, yeah,
Well, this goes down once again to the motivational mechanism we have talked about. The idea that you believe these things to be truer than the alternative, yourself. So the question is, since you only believe things you believe serve you, the alternative must be scarier or believed to be worse than what you're already willing to believe about yourself to be true. So when people say things and you care about what they're saying in the negative sense, there is a portion of you in your belief system that agrees with them or is afraid that it might be true. You need to get in touch with how it serves you to hold on to that assessment of yourself, why you would align yourself with something that you don't prefer to be true about yourself, and examine why you're holding on to it. Usually it has to do with issues of lack of self-worth or the idea that the alternative belief, the one that you know would be more positive, is somehow something you believe would actually cause something worse to happen than simply staying where you are. Does that make sense?
yeah, I'll have to process that. But the first part really struck a chord with me.
All right. The motivational mechanism is simply that within your consciousness where You will always move toward what you believe serves you and always move away from what you believe does not. So if you notice that you're holding on to things that don't serve you, like maybe caring too much about what people think of you, not saying you can't take advice from time to time, that's fine, but you get to determine what is true for you. But holding on to things you know are not necessarily preferable and judging yourself in that sense, you have to find out why you would think that that is to your benefit.
Okay.
Because the idea, again, is that if you believe it is to your benefit to hold on to that concept, that usually means, again, it's an issue of self-worth, or it's an issue that the alternative somehow, because of your belief system, would appear worse, that something bad will happen if you go the other way that you prefer to go.
Right.
So examine those two probabilities, and you will hit upon what the belief is. And as soon as you really look around and compare yourself to others in the world who may be living in the way you prefer to, you will realize that you actually do have a choice, and that to hold on to something you don't prefer makes no sense. And as soon as it truly makes no sense, it'll be gone, because you don't hold on to things that don't make sense. So you have a belief that's making the idea make sense. You have to find that belief and let it go.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
One more question about, there's a lot of predictions that 2023 will be a year of famine, which doesn't sound right to me.
For some, it's true.
For some, it's true?
Yes, but not for all.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is the splitting prism when you are starting to diversify into different threads, different realities, different versions of Earth. So for some, but again, remember, there's no such thing as a prediction of the future. The energy that is created in the prediction is the sensing of what's in the present that has a high degree of probability, unless hearing the prediction makes you change it.
How likely is it to switch, to change that probability for myself?
As likely as you believe it to be. So again, examine your beliefs. Why wouldn't it be likely? Why wouldn't it be probable for you to go in a different direction?
Right.
Remember,
so it comes down to that
fear attracts.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, why are you concerned about this? What are your belief systems telling you that you would bring this up as a question?
Yeah.
How much stock are you putting in that idea? And why? And you will have your answer.
I don't fear it for myself. I fear it for other people.
Yes, but they have their own path too.
Yeah. Okay.
So while you can do whatever you can to help,
yeah,
and perhaps stave off the idea of starvation or famine for others,
yeah,
all you can do is do what you can. People have their own paths. You're not living their lives. They may have chosen this for their own reasons.
That's true.
And what you have to share with them and how you can help may affect them somewhere down the line if it doesn't do so right away. But that's all you can do. What they choose to do with what you choose to help them with is none of your business.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Be helpful, but be respectful of their own path as well if you seem like you're not able to really do something for them. They're making their own choices too.
Thank you. You've answered all of my questions. I appreciate that.
It is our deep appreciation to you for the interaction. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hello, Bashar. This is Meerte from the Netherlands, and I have some experiences I would like to ask you about. So, somewhere in my 20s, I was sitting on the couch. I was watching our cat jumping through the living room, and all of a sudden, I felt like I caught a glimpse of his perspective. So I was closer to the floor, I was facing in a different direction. But especially the air around me, like usually I just ignore space and look at the objects in it. But now it was like the air was very active and like sparkly and very alive. Like a few years later, I was babysitting a little kid, and I was sitting at the table, and she was standing to my right. And all of a sudden I could see the table on eye level, and I saw my own figure to the left. And especially my senses were very active, like less focus on my thoughts and more on my senses. And then a few years later, again, I was helping a friend who was making a YouTube video. So I was filming her and holding the camera and listening to her story. And And then all of a sudden I could see myself holding the camera in front of me. So it felt like switching places, but more than switching places, it was like their perspective was added to mine for a while, just for a few seconds, because I would be very surprised. And I think the surprise in itself just kind of like moved me back to my own perspective. But I was wondering, can you tell me a little bit about what happens in a situation like that? How would you describe something like that? And also, how could we, what could we do to actively develop a skill like that to maybe purposefully switch places or add perspectives for a moment? Thank you so much.
Well, there are many ways that you might learn to do that more intentionally, but for right now, they are simply signposts for you to get used to the idea that you are loosely connected to physical reality, and thus slipping back into the idea of your spirit perspective, which sees all things as connected, which sees all perspectives from every point of view. So you're kind of practicing going back and forth between the denser physical material world and the less dense spiritual perspective of knowing that you are everything, you are connected to everything, and can perceive everything from everyone else's perspective. So you're practicing back and forth doing that so that you maintain more conscious awareness of your connection to physical reality and know that you are creating it as a projection, as a dream projection of your consciousness. So it's just a process you're going through that you'll get better at. Just keep going, follow the formula. It will expand and it will accelerate.